the first part of this tutorial, we have seen what kind of actions we can execute at a stopover point and in which order Vasco da Gama executes them. As promised, now we will add other types of objects, and here we have basically three different types. We have objects, we have pictures, or we can place text objects. Fortunately, all three types have exactly the same behavior. This makes it very easy for me because I have to place only one object and we can observe how Vasco da Gama acts upon it. There is only one detail we have to pay attention for. This is whether we place an object at a stopover point or we place it elsewhere on the map. This detail we will discover in a few moments. Let's discover it step by step. I have added a freely placeable object here, this target symbol, and when we go to the object section, my target object is selected here, and I have selected as fade in and fade out effect a smooth fade with a duration of 1 second. So let's go to the preview section and play back our animation, and you see instantly something is wrong because the target symbol is already visible. But we have selected a fade in and a fade out effect, right? So something is wrong. The explanation is very simple. Since this is a freely placeable object, I can drag it to any other place on the map. It has no relationship to this route, and although I have selected a smooth fade in and a fade out effect, this doesn't work because Vasco da Gama has no idea at what time point it has to execute it, and so the object remains always visible. Vasco da Gama simply ignores these settings. So we need to establish a relationship between this object and this point here, and for this we have this function here, link to stopover point. Our stopover point in the middle is selected. It is green, so it is the active one. Our object is selected, and now I click the set button, accept with OK, and now our object is linked to this stopover point, and this gives Vasco da Gama the time point during the animation when it can act upon the fade effect. Back to the preview section. I will execute it, and now you see the target isn't visible, and now it is faded in as the car slows down, and when the bus accelerates, the target disappears. Let's see it again. During slowdown it appears, and during acceleration it is faded out. So let's have a look at the overview of all those actions and timings. We have to remember that as for the head object, the fade out, the object change, the pause time and the fade in takes place while the head object is at this specific stopover point. The slowdown occurs just before it reaches the stopover point, and the acceleration takes place just when it leaves the stopover point. As for all other objects, the fade in takes place just before the corresponding head object reaches the stopover point, or when the slowdown phase is executed, and the fade out after the corresponding head object leaves the stopover point. In between those two actions, the object is visible. Now I have to make clear that in this overview graph I have designed all those different phases with the same dimensions, but they vary in duration because if we make the pause time longer, the yellow part would have to be much wider, or if we make the fade in or the fade out slower, then the green part will be smaller or wider. And for the additional objects, it's only the fade in phase and the fade out phase that is defined in the parameters of the object. The part where the object is visible depends entirely on the parameters of the head object. If we, for example, set the pause time here in the root section of this stopover point from 2 seconds to 0, and if additionally we turn off the fade in and fade out effect of the head object at this stopover point, let's turn it off here, then the whole visible part of our target symbol disappears. So we will see only fade in and instantly the fade out effect. Let's have a look at the preview and play back the animation. Now our car will only slow down, change instantly and speed up, and therefore our target symbol will be faded in and instantly faded out. Let's see it again. Fade in and fade out, and that's it. This is the proof that the duration of the visibility of additional objects depends entirely on the parameters of the corresponding head object. Now you have seen that even a small project with a few additional objects and a few actions defined in the parameters can easily get very complex. And this is the reason why you have to understand the different actions and their execution order and their relationship between each other. And if you keep this in mind, you will have lots of fun in Vasco da Gama.